Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Amplifire, your one-stop shop for music news and journalism from a TV major. I don't even study journalism at all. I think I took like one journalism class. My name is Jason. I have no credentials, no Sabrina Carpenter tickets, but a lot of free time. And I think that is going to be the intro that I end up going with. This is my new podcast, guys. Assuming most, if not everyone watching this knows me from my main YouTube channel, Jason Paul Kim with no spaces, where I do album reviews / music commentary related content. This is going to be a newer outlet for me that's a little more consistent and a little more different. See, on my channel, as much as I love reviewing music, that's like one of my biggest passions is talking about music, listening to music, talking about it, enjoying it as a fan and as a quote unquote critic. I don't like saying critic because it's not like I get that deep on my channel, but I try to be somewhat serious at times. In terms of like reviewing music, but this channel / podcast is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about some of the discourse surrounding the music industry. We're going to talk about news, upcoming releases, and we're going to talk about narratives that the fans are spinning and other things related to music that I would normally never be able to cover on my channel where I review it. Because I really do think that making that distinction is important because I just got a text. Sorry. I promise that won't happen that often. So yeah, this is gonna be me talking about music-related news and the discourse going on social media and whatever. Honestly, if you want to know what inspired me to make this, there's two things. Okay, the first one is I am currently in a class where we kind of just get advice. It's like a 1-credit course, nothing crazy. Where you just kind of get advice about fixing your resume and fucking helping you get a job or whatever. And the professor there is really nice. He also has a little bit of a background in music, even though it is a TV course, like for people looking to get into the television business. So we kind of connected there. And he sat down with me like one-on-one, and I was just honest with him. I was like, I've been studying TV for the past 2.5 years because I declared my major late. But I'm going to graduate as a television production and studies major. That is the name of my major. And I've had the chance to learn a lot of great skills as far as operating a TV board and how live productions on television work and how they go and how they function. And it's cool. It's very valuable information, but my heart's not really in it. Truth is, I was undecided for a while because when you're 18, what the fuck do you know? What, I'm supposed to decide what I want to do when I'm 40? Until the point where I'm 40, when I'm 18, yeah, okay. Freshman year, I had a phase for a week where I was like, I'm going to drop out and become a bartender. I'm not even making that up. I stayed up till 3 a.m. watching how to make cocktails. I don't remember any of them. Not except maybe a whiskey sour, because I'm pretty sure it's just whiskey and lemon juice and simple syrup, which is half water, half sugar. At least I remember that. So maybe if this YouTube thing fails, I could become a bartender, theoretically. I think you need a degree for that, though. Or you need some sort of license, at least in New York. Yeah, I don't really know. Anyway, what was I talking about again? This is going to be the entire podcast. The entire podcast is going to be me just going on stupid tangents and forgetting what my point was. But yeah, so I'm a TV major, and yeah, my heart isn't really in it. As much as I love Breaking Bad, as much as I love TV, I keep making the joke I became a TV major because I like Breaking Bad, and as stupid as that sounds, it's low key kind of true. Because what other sense of direction would I have at this point? Which my YouTube channel wasn't really what it is right now, so I didn't really have those goals set for myself, and I chose TV because the program here is really great. The comm school is I don't know, they always brag about being one of the greatest radio / television schools in the country or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to say that and they're not it and then they look bad, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. I also applied here not knowing that, so it was just a coincidence. But I chose it because the resources are good and their facilities and the program is good. And I just want to take advantage of that. And I like watching TV. I keep burping. Fuck. Excuse me, guys. All right. That's really embarrassing. But I just had a venti iced decaf Americano with 3 pumps of vanilla and some vanilla cream on top and a splash of oat milk. And it was really good. It was delicious. I'm a decaf boy because I cannot drink caffeine because I can't sleep then. And also sometimes I've had a lot of caffeine and it makes my heart race pretty fast. I'm one of those. But anyways, another tangent. Back to what I was talking about, which was this class. Oh my God, that's crazy. So obviously because I didn't want to do TV, I wasn't really as on top of looking for an internship. And my major requires that you either find an internship and you take it for credit, or you take this one credit course. And I took the course because I couldn't find an internship, and it was fine. Low key, I feel like my parents were a little bit not disappointed, but like they were just hopeful that I was going to be able to find one, because obviously you want to, because that would like help so much with jumpstarting your career. But in me not finding an internship, I basically now am at such a disadvantage where it's like I'm just not going to study. I'm not going to go into the TV world at all. You know what I mean? Which fine by me. I'm totally cool with it, but it's a little bit riskier. Another huge tangent. Wow, I wonder how much of this I'm going to cut out, but basically in this course, I sat down with him one-on-one and I was like super honest, and I was like, I have this YouTube channel that has about 20,000 subscribers. It's nothing insane, but my dream is to be able to do music commentary content for a living. And he gave me some tips as far as like how to go about it. Well, the first thing he told me was to never give up on the dream, which was really nice to hear. I'm not gonna lie, because obviously things will happen that kind of discourage you from time to time. But seeing someone that has had such a full career and done so much say that to me and make that like the first thing that he said, I could cry, man. It was really nice. He also said he thought I should start a podcast, because if my goal, I told him my goal, as much as I love doing music commentary, like reviewing albums and like reviewing music, in my opinion, there's always going to be someone better than me at it. Anthony Fantano, I'm never going to be as good at analyzing music as Anthony Fantano. I'm never going to have as candidly funny reactions as HTA's, right? But rather than comparing myself to other people that are doing what I'm doing, I should try to carve out my own lane, so to speak, right? As stupid as it sounds, or it's not stupid, but as kind of cocky as it sounds. So my goal with this is to kind of present myself as more of just a general music persona, kind of critic slash journalist slash, I just really like hearing about the music drama and being like, ooh, and then laughing about it with you guys. So that's going to be the main goal for this podcast. Now that that's out of the way, though, I guess we could kind of just dive into the meat and potatoes of the episode, because I do have some topics I would like to cover. They're pretty quick. So honestly, I'm thinking this episode is probably not going to run longer than like an hour. And in general, I really want to keep the episodes concise. I'd like to post them weekly. I think I'm probably going to go for it weekly, and then just not drag them out too long. You know, like if I don't have a lot of news to cover in 1 week, it's just going to be a shorter episode type of thing. So Sabrina Carpenter announced last week that she's adding a few more shows to the end of her short and sweet tour as like a sort of final little leg in New York and LA, because obviously those are two of the biggest markets. And I wanted to get tickets. She started with like 3 shows, and then I think it turned into 5 because there was just that much demand. And I was like, I don't care what day. All right. I missed out when she was here last September, I think it was. This is my time, guys. I'm really trying to make it a goal to go to a lot of concerts this year, because there's a lot of artists that are doing it. There's Kendrick and SZA, which I have to go to, bro. I don't have tickets yet, but I have to. Oh, shoot. I don't have tickets yet. It's like a month and a half. I really got to lock that in. But I want to go see them. The Weeknd is touring with Playboi Carti. I'm not a huge Carti guy. And by not a huge Carti guy, I mean I don't really listen to his music. But I really love The Weeknd, and it's his last show, or last tour, I guess, theoretically, if he's not going to make music anymore. So I have to see that. The problem is, it actually is the day before Gov Ball, and I do already have tickets for Gov Ball. So if I do it, then I would just have to be mentally prepared to go Weeknd concert, Gov Ball day 1, Gov Ball day 2. I'm not going day 3. But that's 3 days. I was already worried about back-to-back Gov Ball. But now it would be the Weeknd and then back-to-back Gov Ball, which honestly sounds kind of sick. It depends on what mindset I'm in the moment, because me personally, I kind of go through phases of like being down to just do whatever for like a week straight. I will like pick up my shit and go across the country for like a week straight, or I will not want to do anything and I will want to stay in my room under my blankets and watch Friends. So it depends on my mindset in that moment. It's really the duality of man, if you ask me. But if I'm in the right moment, or in the right mindset, I mean, maybe I will do it. Who knows? That would be so crazy. And I could make one big vlog out of it too. That would be awesome. But what a crazy tangent to go on. We're going back to Sabrina Carpenter. She had 2 types of pre-sales. This is honestly going to be more of a rant than me reporting news right now. 2 pre-sales. I signed up for both of them. And the week of, I missed the first day because I forgot. And I kind of hate that because I was telling myself going into it that I was going to be so good. I was going to be so meticulous. I'm going to be like, I'm going to be ready an hour before they drop. I'm going to just refresh for an hour straight so I can get them. Right? Missed the first day, but they had like I think they did like a set amount for day 1, set amount for day 2, set amount for day 3, and then they would do the general public release, right? So I was like, okay, I missed out on the first day. I'll just go for day 2. Day 2 is opening at 10. I was set up with my breakfast in the library on my laptop at 9. I was like, all right, let's lock the fuck in. They said to get here 10 minutes early. I'm gonna be here an hour early, right? So I'm here sipping my little matcha latte, eating my little breakfast burrito or whatever. I hate that I just did this motion on camera. Fuck. But I thank goodness that some people hopefully are listening to this only on like Spotify or Apple Podcasts and did not see that. But now that I'm talking about it so much, I'm making a thing and they're probably going to want to go to the video version. Maybe I will just not do video. No, okay, we're going to keep the video podcast because I'm literally filming right now. But anyways, back to Ticketmaster. So it's finally time to load into the line, right? Again, I've been here for like an hour. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm doing other stuff on my laptop, but I had the tab open, refreshing every few minutes. And it's finally time for the line to open. I refresh it. Actually, I'm also on my phone too, which my phone I was on for like 30 minutes, laptop like an hour. Refresh, and we're finally loaded in. My phone is fucking like 3,500, not 1,000. 3,500. There's definitely not even 35,000 seats in MSG. 3,500th, and on my laptop, I'm like 25. No, laptop was like 35, phone was like 25, or something like that. And that's fucking stupid. That's fucking dumb because I know that Billy was not here before me. Okay, yet somehow Billy's 100th in line and I'm 3,500th. I don't think so. No. And that's like honestly one of those things that it's hard to pin down, right? Like I can't really get mad because who knows? Like if we load in at the same time, maybe something happened with the servers where he actually was before me. Maybe it's completely random and I was just randomly assigned 3,500. So obviously, yeah, I didn't fucking get tickets on either of my devices, which it's okay. Like honestly, they were like $225 apparently, even during the regular pre-sale. So that's a lot of money. That's a lot of hot pockets. That's in case you don't know, that's my metric of how much something is like how many hot pockets can I buy with that amount of money. It used to be really easy because when I was in high school, they were like $2 for a 2-pack of hot pockets. So it would be just 1-to-1, you know, $20. I could buy 20 hot pockets with that. That's enough food to feed me for like a week if I'm doing intermittent fasting. But now they're like a lot more expensive. I think it's probably like $5 for like 2, which is kind of insane. So, or something like that. So I haven't eaten Hot Pocket. I don't even eat Hot Pockets. It's just like they're efficient, you know? It's like a little thing you just throw in the microwave and then that's a meal, you know? So that really goes to show what you can do with $5. You could have food for a day if you're intermittent fasting, okay? So why did I go on that tangent? Oh my God. I'm going to be a horrible music journalist. Can you imagine? See, this is why I'm so happy that I'm doing this on my own platform. Because can you imagine if I fucking was on live TV and just went on that Hot Pocket tangent? Exactly. Could not happen. That's why I can't really be a real journalist. But anyways, Ticketmaster. So I thought about it. I'm like, I feel like obviously Ticketmaster has faced a lot of controversies. I think the two biggest ones are A, the dynamic pricing, which in case you don't know is when they let their prices fluctuate, like for the general sale, depending on the demand for the concert, which is not normal. Obviously, you will set them at a price that you think, like you're not going to be paying the same amount for Taylor Swift ticket than you would for like some guy at a bar. You know what I mean? Or like some guy at like a small theater venue versus like a stadium tour, right? That's just kind of a given. But at the same time, it gets kind of out of hand when you're charging like almost $300 for the first sale, for the general sale. That's what? What are you doing, right? That doesn't make any sense. But it's because there's higher demand. They know that they can upcharge, so then they do. Now, the other part that comes from that controversy is Ticketmaster Ticketmaster will partner with artists, right, to sell the general sale for their tickets. And going into the Sabrina one, I didn't even know it was going to be Ticketmaster. And the way they were like advertising it, you did not see the Ticketmaster logo once. So I was like, oh, they're doing something different. Good. They're steering away from the Ticketmaster controversies. Good for them. Good for you, Sabrina. I was fucking wrong, obviously. The day of, it's a Ticketmaster link. So I was like, okay, honestly, that's when I knew I wasn't going to get shit. But anyways, So Ticketmaster will upcharge their tickets, right, for the general sale for any artist that they're working with. Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Kendrick Lamar, right? That's why there was all that controversy going on with Kendrick Lamar when his tickets dropped too, because they were also like some like $400. Like, bruh. So that's the problem A, is the dynamic pricing. Problem B arises when you realize that Ticketmaster is also a place that allows secondhand tickets. They're like the verified resale tickets. And if in case you don't realize, they're obviously taking a fee from that too. So they're sort of dipping their feet in both pools of the general sale and the resale. It's kind of becoming like a monopoly. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if you have designated websites. I think StubHub, right, like sued them or something because they're like, hey, that's our job. You get to sell the tickets the first time and the second time. That's like, can you imagine if like when Jordan sold out on Nike.com, Nike also was essentially the only place that you could resell those same shoes? So like some Jordans, right? If they're like a really fancy collab or something, they'll sell retail price for like 200, and then you can resell them for like 500, right? So let's say of the 200, Nike's making, let's say they're taking home like 50%, right? Now I'm just pulling out of my ass, but let's say they're taking home 50%, they get $100. Then they get another like what, 30% or 20% of the resale. And then if they're selling the Jordans again, the same exact shoe that they just made $100 off of, they could tell the customer that just bought it, if you want to resell it, you could resell it through us. And it'll probably have a higher chance of being sold too, because a lot of people have Ticketmaster accounts. It's low-key a monopoly. So you sell through us, and then they get even more money. That's stupid to me. There's a reason that StockX and Nike are two different things. If you don't get that reference, I'm sorry. But StubHub and Ticketmaster should be like StockX and Nike, but they're not. It's Ticketmaster's both. And I don't know anyone that buys off fucking StubHub. I feel bad for them. I got Comic-Con tickets off of them once when I was in like 8th grade. And they were so fucking expensive. Retail for Comic-Con was like $50. I think I spent like 150 or like 200. I say like it wasn't my parents for my birthday, but it's still like that is kind of absurd. Anyways, all of that is to say, take a page out of Nike's book, Ticketmaster, all right? There's no real report there other than me just being upset that I didn't get tickets. And now there's reselling on like SeatGeek and Ticketmaster for like $400 for like not just the nosebleeds, but like the nosebleeds that are on the fucking side, you know, where you can't even see the main stage. Because you know, like the main stage is like flat, right? So it's facing this way. And then they seat you like this. I would have to pay $400 to sit right here. Right here. I'm trying to think about like the audio listeners, but like the worst possible seat where I'm basically only seeing the side of her face the entire time. She's not going to look back up at me. Why would she look up there? No shot. I mean, honestly, MSG does have the huge Jumbotron that's like hanging. I've been in MSG for like Knicks games, but I've never been for a concert. Yeah, the only arena concerts I've been to were at Barclays, and that was Childish Gambino and Travis Scott. Both were phenomenal, by the way. Which is honestly the Childish Gambino concert that I went to at the end of August is what made me want to go to more concerts. Which is why I'm going to try and go to all these, and I'm going to go ball and whatever. I'm super excited for the summer. But anyways, so Nike has this thing called the Sneakers app, right? For those of you that don't know, I actually am kind of a sneakerhead. Here, you know what? I'll show you. I'll show you a little bit. Hold on. I have some J's. You know, see, these are Jordan 11s, cool blues. I got some Jordan 6s right here. These are shoes that I've accumulated. Lucky for me, I haven't changed shoe sizes since I was like 14, which is 7 years. Oh my God, that's 7 years ago. I'm fucking so old, bro. But because of that, I've been able to wear the same shoes for a really long time. I got some of those like my freshman year of high school. But anyways, they have this thing called the Sneakers app, right? So when they release sneakers that they know are going to sell out instantly, they do this thing they call a raffle where you get a note. You download the app, you sign up, and you sign up for notifications for when the sneaker's going to drop. When it drops, you get 10 minutes, right? Plenty of time. Anytime during those 10 minutes, you can submit your name and you put in your size or whatever you want for the raffle. After that, it takes like maybe 5 to 10 minutes for them to do the drawings. And then you open the app later and you find out if you got it or not. The reason I think that would be beneficial for Ticketmaster is because, I mean, maybe like server stress. I'm not really thinking about them, to be honest. I'm thinking about us, okay? I think that if we had something like that, if they could do ticket sales like that instead of me waiting for an hour, again, Billy came 5 minutes before, and he's like 10th in line, and I've been waiting for an hour. We refresh at the same time, and I get 3,500. and Billy's 10? No, that doesn't make sense, dude. So you do a raffle. Let's say you have a set amount of tickets. You want to sell 2,000 seats, 2,000 tickets on the first day or whatever. Everyone submits their name at 10 o'clock. Ironically, it's the same time. Nike drops sneakers at the same time as Ticketmaster. I wonder why. But anyways, 10 o'clock, everyone submits it. 10:10, draw closes. You cannot get in line anymore. That is another thing that matters because people will join the line late thinking they still have a chance. And then you just waste their time too. What the fuck, Ticketmaster? But essentially, you do the drawing and it closes, right? Then when we find out later, we essentially all have an equal chance at getting tickets, which on one hand, it's like not as fair because people that would theoretically, if this was an actual line, like a physical line, yes, the people that got there earlier deserve to be ahead of the people that got there later. But I was way earlier than Billy, okay? And Billy got 10th. I'm just made up Billy. I could be wrong, but like, there's no way that 3,499 people were ahead of me. I was waiting for an hour before, dude. I'm sorry. There's no way. It's definitely fucking random. And I hate that. I'm not going to lie. I guess that's the end of my rant. You know what, Ticketmaster? I know nothing I say is going to change anything. This podcast might not even get 1,000 views. But I just hope that someday push comes to shove and Ticketmaster, we just dethrone them, okay? And it's no longer a monopoly. Artists can sell tickets from their sites. They don't need Ticketmaster. I mean, I don't know. There's probably so many other benefits to like using Ticketmaster. Otherwise, no one would do it because there's already so much controversy. But I'm just frustrated, okay? Because I've heard all this stuff with Ticketmaster. This is the first time I've really experienced it. And I know I'm going to keep using them to buy secondhand tickets because it's really convenient. I could just put it right into my Apple Wallet. But I feel guilty doing it. Not really. I don't really. That's the problem with Monopoly. It's like they're low-key beneficial for the consumer. Except for when I'm trying to get pre-sale tickets. So Tyler, the Creator, famously went onto a podcast and talked about his discomfort / just like frustration with a specific artist that he didn't name. He didn't physically name them. But he talked about this white kid that was mocking Future's flows. And I think there's another artist too, but we'll just say Future for the time being. And sort of like parading around, copying Future and like low-key doing it disrespectfully and mocking him. Now, Ian is the rapper that everyone kind of, put two and two together. I'm not very familiar with Ian. I never listened to any of his music. But he recently dropped a freestyle with Lyrical Lemonade, who, if you don't know what Lyrical Lemonade is, honestly, I don't know either. I know they like produce music videos for like some smaller rappers. Other than that, though, I think they're just like a cool brand. I don't know. It's like Complex or like fucking, I don't know. They just make content. They make like video content or whatever. So he has a specific freestyle that he dropped a few days ago where he addresses this. So him and Tyler low-key starting a little internet beef. Although not really, because his only defense was, I ain't mean it like that, bro. That's basically all he was saying. And I could see both sides, right? Because a really big defense when it comes to controversies that you see from people that are in the limelight is, I didn't mean it like that, right? Let's take, for example, the Ned's Declassified controversies when the Quiet on Set documentary dropped. Their only defense was, I didn't know, I didn't mean it like that, right? Which, to a certain degree, can justify a little bit. It's better theoretically than you meaning it, right? Like, yes, that is better than you doing it and meaning it. But at the same time, the way I see it is, okay, the truth is, I feel kind of weird weighing in on this as an Asian boy, talking about and like trying to defend hip hop culture because it's just, frankly, it's not my culture, right? So I'm not really going to understand the full weight of someone like Ian and how that kind of taints / affects their culture. But as someone that has been making content recently on hip hop with my Kendrick Lamar video, my Tyler the Creator video, people that know and understand it and like fully care about, I guess, just going into it with respect, will see how rich the culture is, in both a positive way and a negative way. right? So that's when the harm comes of Ian doing something like mimicking Future's flows or parading around acting like he's for the culture when he doesn't handle it with care. He doesn't handle it with respect in the same way that someone like Eminem would. Eminem is also a white guy. He did grow up in Detroit, so there's a chance that maybe he was surrounded by the same culture as well. I don't really know. I'd assume maybe I don't know, but there is a difference, and I think it's important to handle things like that with reverence because there's a large group of people in America that it matters a lot to. So I'm gonna have to say I'm on Team Tyler. I'm not gonna lie, but also Ian's defense was like I think he also said he's like a kid. I'm just a kid. I hate that so much because like that's not the type of thing that you say in defense of yourself. I'm a kid. I'm 21. Ian, I think he's like 19 or 20 or something. So we're around the same age. Can you imagine if every time I fucked up and said, sorry, I'm just a kid? That's stupid, bro. Like that's something that someone says, it's okay, you're just a kid. They say it about you. You can't give yourself the kid crown. Because you're using that to justify you doing stupid shit? No. Okay? The whole point of being a kid is that you don't know you're doing stupid shit. So, yeah. I don't know. At the end of the day, like people, I'm sure there's at least one person watching this that has listened to Ian's music and likes it. I would encourage you to, listen to whatever you want. Listen to whatever you like. I'm always going to stand by that. But I would encourage you to listen to Tyler and how Tyler feels about it and how others feel about it. You know, that's this thing with like separating the art from the artist, right? Is there's a way to enjoy music while also acknowledging some of the negative aspects of the person that pumped it out or just the music in general and what it's doing, right? So if you have fun listening to Ian music, that's fine, but also kind of acknowledge the harm that it could potentially do or the harm that it is doing. I feel like that was pretty surface level, like covering that, but I honestly am not fully versed on it, which makes me feel like I definitely have to do a lot more research moving forward if I'm going to call this a music news and journalism podcast. Like if this is ever going to be a resource for people that they go to it for knowledge and I don't know what I'm talking about, what is the point? We are 30 minutes into this right now and I've low-key only given opinions. It's not good. Kendrick Lamar's GNX has already out-billboarded, I'm going to say out-billboarded, but it ranks higher on the Billboard 200 than Drake's album, Sexy Songs for You, even though Sexy Songs for You came out like 3 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure it was number one, but then now GNX is number one again, which is hilarious because Drake just can't catch a break. Poor guy. Like, I low-key feel bad for him, man. Every time he tries to do something, it just never works. Have you seen the video of him blasting Sabrina Carpenter in a club alone? And he's probably like gambling millions of dollars on the laptop. That is so funny, dude. Almost as funny as the video that went viral of him before that, of him throwing a shoe at the drone. I'm pretty sure that was staged though, because what kind of throw was that, bro? Okay, I'm not an athletic guy. I could throw better than that. You missed it by like a mile. It was kind of embarrassing. Anyways, the reason I brought up this particular piece of news is because I thought it was A, kind of funny as someone that is Team Kendrick, obviously. But B, I think it kind of shows the predicament that Drake has found himself in. You know, with releasing an album literally called Sexy Songs for You, I think it's safe to say that it's pretty shallow. There's a song on it called Gimme a Hug, bro. That is literally the musical embodiment of a Where My Hug At guy. You know, a where my hug at ass song right there. Okay. You know, we are almost at a year, the 1 year anniversary of Like That dropping, and we're still seeing Kendrick and Drake tied together in the media, which just goes to show like how huge that was, right? For hip hop, for the culture, for music media in general. Right? That there's still that narrative of them two competing with each other, even if they're not directly doing it. I don't think there was any song, I haven't listened to it, but I don't think there's any song on some Sexy Songs for You where he disses Kendrick, right? He might address the beef indirectly in like one line. And Drake was put in a really bad spot because if he had decided to go the hip hop route, right? And like, theoretically, let's say when Not Like Us drops and everyone's like, okay, Drake, you kind of suck, right? If he had agreed and he was like, you know what? You guys are kind of right. I do kind of suck. But I want to be better moving forward. Any type of rap music he dropped would not have been perceived as good. They're going to keep comparing him, right? So I think Drake actually made a smart move in pivoting, not pivoting, but just more focusing on his other audience, because there's people that will like him for his hip hop music and the people that will like him for his kind of like girly, sexy dance music, right? So he went the girly, sexy dance route. And I think that's the smartest move because you want to latch onto your core audience. You want to cater to the people that are still listening to your music. And obviously, he hasn't really lost. I don't think he lost any fans from this beef, but I'd imagine the people that care about it the least are the ones that listen to his R&B kind of, sexy stuff. The ones that maybe listen to the hip hop stuff that are kind of seeing through it a little bit now. You know what I mean? Those might be the ones that switched up on him. But if I'm being honest, the album still went number one, even though it was apparently really bad. Like a lot of people did not like it. So that goes to show that he's gonna be fine. Drake's gonna be fine. Someday I'll do a Drake album review, a Drake deep dive. Because the truth is, I know he has some good albums, and I'm really curious about them. And there are some Drake songs that I like too. Like as much as I keep taking a fat dump on this guy, there are some Drake songs that I like. I can't lie. Some songs off Scorpion. Maybe Hotline Bling is kind of fun, the funny dance, that's just kind of fire. Doechii was named Billboard's Woman of the Year for 2025. Doechii is an artist that has not seen overnight success, but seemingly has become extremely popular. I saw a ranking on, I think it might have been Rolling Stone or Pitchfork or something like that. That was ranking the top five hip hop artists with most influence at the moment. And Kendrick was number one, Drake's number two. I forget who 3 and 4 were. Number 5 was Doechii. And low key, I kind of agree with that because I feel like she right now is on such a tear of like maintaining sort of a cult following while also creating music that caters to a wider audience and also doing these features on stuff like the Tyler the Creator album. And she's also getting endorsed by people like Kendrick. So it's pretty clear she's on the up and up. I have not listened to Doechii's album yet. I'm kind of waiting to make a video on it. In case you guys don't know, that's kind of like the main struggle of being a music fan while also running a music commentary channel, is because there's so many albums that I really want to listen to. If I didn't have the channel, I would listen to Doechii today, right? But it's because I want to be able to save my first reaction for when I'm able to film it. And then I want to save when I film it for when I'm able to release it. And I just have such a loaded schedule. There's just too many factors, which honestly, if I'm able to eventually move away from music commentary and do more stuff like this, or it's just a can little podcast, that would be kind of nice because then I could listen to music whenever I want and I don't have to wait. So I end up with every music release, I end up asking myself, will I make a video on this? And I would say like 2 out of 3 times it's yeah. So I don't listen to it. And then that one time is like, I could, but I'm just going to do it anyway. That was like me with the Chaperone single today, The Giver, which we'll get into later, but damn, that shit kind of slapped. But yeah, I think Doechii is really cool. And I think the fact that of all artists right now, she is the one seeing so much success is really cool because you can see how much she's worked for it. For those of you that don't know, she actually was a YouTuber for a while, and she like kind of logged her whole journey of like getting fired from her job to just grinding it out and just releasing music and just her giving her stream of consciousness throughout the entire thing, just like kind of yapping at the camera every day. And I think that's so cool because it's even with like this new social media sphere that we're living in, where you get to feel these parasocial relationships with artists because you're seeing things that they do on their day-to-day life. It is still curated at the end of the day. And there's something about just setting up your camera while you're in your bedroom and just yapping away that is so genuine, And obviously at that point, it's not like Doechii knew she was going to become as big of a success as she is right now. So would she still do something like that to this day? Actually, I don't know. Let me look up her YouTube channel right now. Yeah, it pretty much just has completely turned into an artist page, which good for her. She's killing it. That's awesome. I watched this video by Nathan Zed the other day. It was like one of his most recent releases, where he talked about how it's cool to care now. For such a long time, it was about being nonchalant, right? And it was about minimalism and the being cool and chill and like reserved. But now the artists that we're seeing popular, Kendrick Lamar, Doechii, and Chaperone were his primary examples. They're like doing the most. They're like firing on all cylinders, just like going crazy, standing out to stand out, right? it's coming from a genuine place, but they are aware of what they're doing and how it will stand out. And I feel like that is so cool because it rewards people that care a lot and work really hard. You know what I mean? Because you have an era of music, say 10 years ago, where you just throw together the most bland beat, the most bland instrumentals, but because it's chill or because it has like a fun little hook, it does well. Now we are actually rewarding artists that put a lot of care into an album rollout, put a lot of care into music videos and, the narratives for their music, and put a lot of care into the production of their songs. I just love seeing the fact that we are slowly getting, I guess the general public is slowly becoming more and more aware of those distinguishing factors, which music is relative or subjective, I mean. So it's not like there's any set good stuff and set bad stuff. There's no set good production and set bad production. But there are also levels to that where I think you can tell when a beat was kind of thrown together in like 3 minutes, and you can tell when a song has taken like months to craft. Look at some of the samples you get from someone like my go-to example is always First Class by Jack Harlow, right? Catchy ass song, but the reason it's catchy is because the original song by is it Shaka Khan? No, 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 no. What? Fergie? That's so random. Anyways, so you take that song is catchy because the Fergie song is catchy. The hook of that song is just the hook from the Fergie song. Right? If you take that compared to some of the sampling we're getting off the popular hip hop records now, like that, for example, very creative sample where they sped up that fire, dude, so fire. And like I love watching those on YouTube where they have like sample breakdowns where you get to see how many different things they're pulling from, how many different old, classic songs are from like the 60s versus how many like little sound bites. And it feels like they're like hand picking, walking down an aisle, go, I want that, I want that, I want that. And they put it together and it feels like it is meant to be there. It feels like it's completely natural. That doesn't make sense. I don't know. It still boggles my mind. So yeah, that's just one example. I think in general, though, we are starting to appreciate things that go a little above and beyond. Same part of us that kind of has the duality of liking, TikTok people who will just turn on their camera and talk to it. And then there's also those like multi-hour video essays or like this over-the-top editing styles for YouTube videos and like crazy YouTube ideas. Like we clearly are starting to care more about just effort. And just it's like I feel like it's always kind of been the case where when you see someone put effort into something, you kind of like it a little bit more because you can see how much it matters to them. But I think it's becoming more the case these days, I guess. And Doechii is a byproduct of that because you see her creativity and you see how much she's doing. I mean, look at her. Was it Jimmy Kimmel, that one performance where she had the hair connecting to the other dancers? And like that is just one example of like she didn't need to do that. But it's because she wants to do it. It's because she had the idea. She wanted to see it through. She's passionate about her work. And she wants to stand out. Let's go. Dude, do you remember in high school when you would like not want to stand out? There's so many articles of clothing, so many things that I spent money on or that I did to try and fit in. But right now, I'm low-key the opposite. I'm like, I think I might get a woman's hoodie because I've never seen another guy wear that hoodie before, and I like it, and I did it. I'm not wearing it. This is not a woman's hoodie, but I did buy a women's hoodie because I think on me it looks kind of sick. It's a little bit. I'm still kind of scared to wear it out. Maybe I'll show it to you guys sometime. I'm still kind of scared to wear it out, but I think it'll look kind of sick on me. So we'll see. We'll see. It depends on my confidence. Ariana Grande has officially announced her deluxe album for Eternal Sunshine, which is the album that she dropped last year, called Eternal Sunshine Deluxe, Brighter Days Ahead. And there's 6 tracks. People are rumoring that there's going to be a weekend feature on it, which I guess I wouldn't be too mad at. I don't like remixes where it doesn't feel like it adds anything, where it's like, my go-to example is the Die For You remix, which everyone loves for some reason. I think it's kind of mid, right? As much as I love the Weeknd and Ariana track together, Ariana literally just comes in on a verse, does her thing, and comes out. There's no harmonizing. I think she might sing the chorus once, but it's just in complete unison. And you can also 100% tell that Abel did not re-record a lick. That to me reeks of she threw it together in 30 minutes. And not only it's a bad thing, but I just don't like it because of that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying don't do it, but just for me personally, it's like that doesn't excite me. So the thought of them doing that for a song off, maybe like fucking what's a song? The Bye. If The Weeknd had a verse on Bye or something, that would not really excite me. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of those remixes. I'm more curious about the deluxe songs, like the original stuff. But I'm so fucking hyped. She has like a hoodie on her merch store that is $85, but it's so cool because I've been looking for Ariana merch for a while that is not too girly that I could rock because I want to support my queen, obviously. But that hoodie though looks so fire. And I'm just not wanting to spend $85 on it. I really don't, but I really want to, but I really don't. We'll see. If you guys see me wearing it in next week's episode, then you know it. Well, it's a pre-order. If you guys ever see me wearing it, you know how much I spent on it. All right. But it's like a washed like dark gray hoodie. And it has the album artwork, which by the way is so cool. It's like her ascending and it's like spotlight shining on her in the dark. And then the front has like some text on it or whatever. Really simple design for $85, which is another reason why I'm like, fuck, do not want to buy it. But I also really want it. Anyways, that wraps up our little news portion. Low key, I don't really know what I was expecting when starting this podcast, but I feel like I did a lot more yapping and a lot less covering the news. I'm sure we're going to find a sweet spot at some point where I feel like I could do both. Because also this week was not that hectic as far as like news and things to talk about goes. But yeah, let's move into our New Music Friday release radar. Help me come up with a name for these last few segments of the podcast. So just like I want to do these like little things to close out each episode. So New Music Friday, talk about some of the new releases. Playboi Carti dropped his new album, which he hasn't released an album since I think it's been like 1,500 days. I saw a graphic, which I don't know how many years it is. It's like at least 5 or 6 years. I think 5 years. Pretty wild. I listened to a couple songs off it. Honestly, Playboi Carti is not really my jam. It's not really my guy. I haven't given it a full shot though. So the few songs I did listen to, I liked. I will say. I was surprised. He just does this thing where it's like super distorted, and like the highs are really high. And it's like it's like staticky. It's a little weird, but I feel like if you accept that aspect of the music, there's still a lot of really cool stuff about it. Like the beats are really sick. I am slowly starting to like his ad libs like more and more. Timeless helped a lot. Timeless, I feel like, is my song of the week. Timeless, easily. I've been my song of the month, dude. I love that song so much. It's probably my favorite off the album. Hurry Up Tomorrow, because the beat is just so clean. It's just so smooth. Again, I hate to reuse what I said, but it feels like one of those things where it just existed. You know, you just listen to that instrumental and you don't see it as something that someone put together. It just feels so natural. And also it's just catchy. And ever since I was I was the shit. Fire, dude, so fire. But yeah, hearing Carti on that song made me like, oh, this is kind of fire. And then also, of course, we have The Giver by Chaperone. Those are like the two big releases this week. Chaperone's first ever country song, and she sounds fantastic on it. I have to say, I was kind of shocked. Like, she's always been a very dynamic singer, right? Or at least in my head. I'm not saying always. Like, I haven't only listened to the one album, but she is a very dynamic singer in the sense that she will go into these like cry tones and these like little moments here and there, and she's always in that high upper register. And so I wasn't really surprised because with the instrumental that she went with for The Giver, it's very Carrie Underwood-esque instrumental in the sense that it's super full. You know, you have like strings going on, you got guitars, you got drums. It's a very full arrangement. And to match that high energy, that style of country music, to match that high energy with her vocals worked really well, in my humble opinion. And it was a great song. I recommend it. It would be my song of the week if Timeless wasn't such a fucking banger. Please comment down below some of your thoughts, and maybe you'll be featured in next week's episode. I don't really know what kind of format I want to do with like submissions and like comments and stuff, but I do know that I would love to incorporate what you guys have to say about certain topics into these videos. I would love to do like a therapist, like Jake Shane with like the advice stuff, and just have it be not related to music at all. I would also just love for it to be related to music and like bring them out with each segment we talk about. I don't really know. But I do know that I want your guys' comments to be featured. I want you guys' opinions and thoughts and stories to be featured in this little podcast that we're doing. I don't really know other than that. You're just gonna help me figure it out along the way. Um, I honestly feel like this first episode was such a mess, but I got through all my points. I got through everything I wanted to do, and it's gonna take time. Find me one podcast where the first episode is good, where it's like the first episode ever. Because obviously you'll have like some podcasts that is like a spin-off of a different podcast, or like the hosts are already well established. It's gonna take a while to find our feet here, especially because I don't have a co-host, which I would love to have a co-host, to be honest. But the truth is, every time I've tried to start a podcast before, which a total of 2 whole times, my co-hosts just did not care about it as much as I did, or there's just some sort of imbalance there, because obviously not all my friends, or none of my friends really, are trying to go into the same space with their career as I am. So obviously, as far as priorities go, it's not going to be the same, which is totally fine, understandable. The truth is, guys, in life, you only have yourself. So never, I want to leave you guys with a piece of advice. Maybe we'll do this every episode. I'm going to give you a piece of advice as a 21-year-old kid. Okay, I'm old though, because probably a majority of you guys are like teenagers that consume my content. I'd assume. Anyways, my piece of advice is never let the fact that you're doing something alone prevent you from doing it. Right? Prevent you from doing it. Okay? If I wanted to start a podcast and I couldn't find a co-host, start the podcast solo. The fact of the matter is, I think I would have had more pauses if I had a co-host than I did today. As much as I got off topic a lot, I feel like I at least filled the time with my speaking, which is the primary goal of a podcast. At least there wasn't like lulls of silence, or if there were, I cut them out, so it was perfectly fine. It helps that I just talk so much, but I think we'll wrap it up. I don't have an outro, so please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. Please, I do have an Instagram that I made for the Amplifier. I also have a TikTok, but I'm not gonna plug them. I mean, the links are in the description, but I'm not gonna like send you to them and be like, hey, go follow, because there's not any content on there right now, at least not yet. But yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on Spotify, follow on whatever podcast outlet you're listening on, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. I hope if you're listening to this with your dinner, I hope you enjoyed your dinner. If you were listening to this with your homework, I hope you finished your homework. If you are listening to this at the gym, I hope you got a nice ass workout. Bye-bye.